Welcome back to the Odyssey. I am Mike Odyssey, and this is my official review for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Now, before I get started, I just want to issue a minor warning for basically very minor spoilers, because even though I will not spoil the actual story of the game or even the ending of the game, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the game and mention a couple of things that are present in the game in order to judge it properly and to give you guys my honest opinion and review score. So if you don't want to know anything at all about the game, then you can tune in later. After you have played the game, you can come back to this review, let me know if you agree with it or not, and then, proceed. So yes, just a minor spoiler warning. I will mention places in the game and locations and things like that. I will not mention storylines and what happens to this person or what happens to that person or why things happen. So don't worry about that. Just locations and my overall feeling about how Nintendo basically delivered this game. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Welcome to the Odyssey. Hit the like, press play. You're running with the squad like Xenoblade. Drive like Mario, we on a...
Now, I want to start with the formula of the game, and I think starting with the formula of the game will actually give you a very good idea of what to expect without giving you any spoilers at all whatsoever. Well, when it comes to formula, I'm talking about sequence of events that happen or things you have to do in order for something else to happen. For example, you know that in the Legend of Zelda prior games, the first games, actually every Legend of Zelda until before Breath of the Wild, because of course Breath of the Wild just broke the mold and did something new. You had dungeons, you had your bosses, and you had basically collecting keys, open doors. That basically that basic formula that was very known for the Legend of Zelda that a lot of people love. And well, that's what I mean for formula. Now, when it comes to Tears of the Kingdom, they went with the Breath of the Wild formula, and let me explain myself. So when I mean Breath of the Wild formula is the way you begin the game, what you have to do in the game to progress, and what you accomplish, So let's start with Breath of the Wild. You begin the game in the Great Plateau. You wake up, right? Link wakes up, and like in every single Zelda game, Link wakes up and begins in the Great Plateau. Here, you begin the game in a place called the Great Sky Island, which is where Link begins his journey, right? Now, in Breath of the Wild, you have to collect, or you have to kind of conquer 4 shrines, right? To get your abilities, right? For the Sheikah Slate, you get all the abilities, right? In Tears of the Kingdom, you also have to conquer, well, you start with 3 shrines, and then you find out later on 4 shrines in order to get all of your abilities, in order for you to then leave the Great Sky Island. So basically, as you see the similarities between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's the formula. It's not that the same thing happens, is that they're following the same formula. Yeah, we do have shrines. They look different from Breath of the Wild, but when you start playing the game, they're all the same. When I mean they're all the same is that they're all shaped the same, and when you go inside the shrine, they all have the same exact theme. Right? They all have the same exact look, just because it makes sense when you learn the story. So once you learn the story, it's okay if don't be upset if it has like the same exact kind of look. They have different puzzles. Some of them are harder than others. Some of them are very short. Some of them are very long. And require a lot of skill to kind of get through. You can actually be creative, because basically this game invites you to be as creative as you want. You will see this in my playthrough, because I will upload a playthrough, and you can be as creative as you want. You can just build whatever you want and then use whatever you built to complete the shrines however you want. So you'll notice that in every gameplay video you'll see out there for Tears of the Kingdom, everybody will not play the same. And I think that's what Nintendo wanted, and that's what they were referring to when they were giving us this open world, plus they were inviting us to use our creativity, because this game will be different for everybody else. Now let's go back to the formula. So yes, we got shrines. The shrines are back. We also got the Korok seeds, which they also serve the same exact purpose. Let's see what else is back from Legend of Zelda. The fairies are back also. They have the same exact purpose as well. Those big fairies, they have the same exact purpose. We have a lot of the characters are back. We have brand new characters that are very awesome. I'm trying not to spoil it too much, but I want to go into more detail now, in a way comparing it also to Breath of the Wild. So in Breath of the Wild, we had the 4 divine beasts. The number, keep that number in your mind. 4 divine beasts. You went into each divine beast. They looked like kind of like dungeons, but not really. They were just basically all mechanical. Every single boss in Breath of the Wild was the same kind of looking boss, right? And there you have it. You kind of defeat the boss, you conquer the area, you help that location, and then that's basically the gist of Breath of the Wild. Now, with Tears of the Kingdom, they have almost the same exact thing, right? You have to go to 4 locations, just like you went to in Breath of the Wild. But I have to tell you guys that you will be blown away like I was blown away. Nope, these are not divine beasts. These are super duper mega crazy amazing giant incredible dungeons. I mean, the most incredible dungeons you have ever seen in your entire life. If you're a Tears of a Zelda fan, yes, dungeons are back and they're bigger and greater than ever. We have 4 major dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom. We have a fire dungeon, which is located around the area in Death Mountain. We have the water dungeon, it's dungeon. They're called temples, but we call them they're dungeons. We have the water dungeon. We also have the lightning dungeon in the Gerudo area. We start with the Rito, where they have their own dungeon. I'm not going to describe the dungeon to you. I'm just going to tell you that your jaw will be completely down, and you will probably have some type of issue trying to get your jaw back up, because it's incredible. Gone are the divine beasts, and in come the dungeons. They listen to you guys. That's all I have to say. They listened to you, and they gave you what you wanted, because these areas are so incredible. They're so amazing, and I really can't stress this enough. I'm not going to show them to you on screen right now, but because I want you to be surprised, because this is a part of the surprise factor. You have to look at it. You have to see the magnitude and how amazing they are. Okay, now I'm going to move on from that. Now, when it comes to the progression of the game, the progression is just like Breath of the Wild. Basically, you have the entire world to explore. It's up to you whether you want to go first to any of the major areas to basically meet with any of the characters from Breath of the Wild or new characters, along there. So it follows the same progression. Along the way, there's so much to do. Tears of the Kingdom, it's actually it feels like a complete game compared to Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild now feels like it's been preparing you for what Tears of the Kingdom was going to be. It feels that way when you play Tears of the Kingdom. When you're at the end of the game and you look back to Breath of the Wild, you say, wait, wow, this game actually felt like a tutorial, and I feel like that game was always preparing me for this one. So the progression is basically almost the same. When it comes to the cutscenes and it comes to the voice acting, it's all done incredibly well. The voice actors did a fantastic job, and I feel that you guys are going to enjoy it. Those who wanted more voice acting, you guys are gonna get more voice acting. You know, there's even voice acting away from the actual scenes. There's voice acting in game, you know, from certain characters. Not everything is voice acted, but there is voice acting in game, which is very cool. I was surprised by that because normally we only get voice acting during cutscenes, but there was voice acting within the game. There are certain areas of the game that feel very, I'm going to say this, Hyrule Warriors, okay? Calamity of Ganon, Hyrule Warriors, okay? So everything that you saw in the trailers where you know, it is basically part of it. So that's all I'm going to say. Everything feels more Hyrule Warriors than Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild, Link is on its own. Here you're not on your own, and that just feels so great, and it actually just makes it feel like an actual RPG game. Now, I did complete the game, not 100%ed, but I actually did complete the game when it comes to the actual story, the all the dungeons, and I defeated the final boss. And I'm not gonna talk about it because I feel like if I talk about it, it'll lessen the impact on you guys. So I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna keep my voice. I'm gonna keep it when it comes to talking about it in a different tone, because I don't want to mess with your excitement or want to mess with your surprise factor. Okay, I want you guys to really go in there and just really get your mind blown for what you see. All right, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my score for this game, because I believe that this game is better than Breath of the Wild. This game just replaced Breath of the Wild as my favorite game when it comes to the Legend of Zelda of all time. This is officially my favorite game of Legend of Zelda, and I am going to give it a 10 out of 10. If you have any questions, again, I want to go ahead and put a minor spoiler warning. The game is already out and the NDA is completed. We can go ahead and talk about it now. Put down below in the description if you have any questions for me. Go ahead and do that. I will be uploading the Great Sky Island walkthrough. I will also be uploading all of the bosses, okay? I will also be uploading basically all of the temples and all the shrines, and all of the basically the temples are also the dungeons. So I will be uploading all that content on the channel. There is going to be content on day 1 of Tears of the Kingdom. So if you happen to have any issues with anything that you might be going through in the game, feel free to come back to the channel and follow the guide, because I will start off with this Great Sky Island guide. I'm actually editing right now the entire game guide, which will be going up this week. So guys, that is gonna do it for this episode of Odyssey News. I hope you enjoyed this review, but before I let you go, I have 2 important things I need to let you know. Number 1, never give up, and number 2, journey on. Peace.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better